Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Hunt Lift Eat podcast, brought to you by Hunt Eat Official on Instagram. Carrie and Carter back in the sticks. Back on the grind, Carrie.
Yeah, man. Digging it.
Digging it, yeah. We're in our podcast dojos, right? We got an awesome guest this week. Good friend of yours, good friend of Hunt Lift Eat. We got Ken Thrall jumping on from Kifaru, man. So, Ken, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on. I'm definitely excited to chat with you guys. You know, I've known Carrie for, what is that, almost 2 years now, probably. Since Atlanta, or at SCI.
Nashville.
Yep. So, known Carrie for a while, so this is awesome. And obviously, Hunt Lift Eat, and I love seeing what you guys are doing. So, this will be a good time.
Yeah, man, definitely. Carrie is like Kifaru's number one customer, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed to say it, but if you walk into my garage, it looks like a strongman gym and a Kifaru showroom had a baby.
Yeah. I like that. You probably got more stuff than I do.
I may have put some of y'all's kids through college. I'm just saying.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he's also a big fan of stickers, Ken.
I know. I guess.
Big fan of stickers.
Yep.
I'm hoping I get a couple of stickers the next time I order something because I didn't get them the last time I ordered something.
I'm gonna put that on some sort of radar. I'm gonna have a thing up there in the shipping area, be like, hey, if Carrie's ordering anything, throw on like 20 stickers.
Yeah.
There we go. We'll fix it.
Get to it and stickers. Yeah, that's cool, man. Stoked to have you on, dude. I've been creeping you hard on Instagram after Carrie was like, hey, this is a good dude. We need to have him on the podcast, man. And I think we have a lot in common, man. Excited to sit down and chat with you. Carrie was talking about before we mashed record an order that he just got from you guys, and this applies to what we're talking about here. Carrie put out, you sparked a good conversation today, Carrie, in the team group chats about everyday carry kind of stuff. Like, what do you carry? How do you carry it? That kind of stuff. And I giggled when I saw you said you were like, I'm a big fanny pack guy. Like, I like to carry my pistol in my Kifaru fanny pack, man. And which ones did you just order?
So I got a green and gray one for myself, or the gray. I'm sorry, green and black for myself, black for just normal whatever, and green obviously for the woods. And so I do a Sunday rec day, right, with my family. Whether my kids are here, if it's just me and the wife, whatever, we go hiking on Sundays, usually about 5 or 6 miles. Yeah, so she wore my black one while I had my green one. So it was her birthday last week, so I had to buy her a black one. So that was just 2 weeks. But yeah, dude, huge fanny pack guy, man. Like, I've been a fanny pack guy for a while, since before it was cool. Dude, I remember being on a team and the other guys would, hey. And I'm like, all right. And then all of a sudden it became popular. And I'm like, yeah, who's gay now?
Exactly. Oh, yeah. Those fannies are awesome.
I love the fanny pack, man. I'm a huge fan of the ones you guys just put out. But yeah, some people were talking about concealed carry and all that, and it got my brain running. I'm a gear guy, and just talking about what I carry and how I carry it and all that. And so, like, I put a picture of my fanny pack with all the stuff I have in there. I've got a little Glock 43. I always carry a fixed blade. I've got we're big fans of Team Easties. He's a team member. He's brand partner with the team, and I think you guys are familiar with him too. Is B17 panel type deal. So I had that in there and all that stuff, man. But yeah, sparked a good conversation. So I thought that was a cool picture. So
yeah, those fannies are awesome. We started prototyping that a long time ago, throughout the year of 2024, and mainly we just wanted some more, EDC style, less tactical like the Rogan is, just a little more discreet. Also, you put it under your shirt and stuff like that, keep it hidden. But I was using it a ton running. So I have, XD5 was compact, just put that in there and you tighten that thing up relatively tight and you can run with that perfectly. So just being able to run those early mornings. So it's, if anybody tries something, then they're going to get it. But it's sweet. Like, definitely for EDC, we traveled actually when we went to Alaska. We were still kind of prototyping it. So I was using that the whole time. I had fanny pack sitting in my tent the whole time in Alaska as I was sitting there. But that was a great thing to drop, and it's been perceived really well. We sold quite a few, so it's been awesome.
Yeah. What is that? It's man. It's called the fanny.
It's just called the fanny. Okay, cool.
Yep, just the fanny.
I'm writing that down. I run a lot, and that sounds perfectly
It's-
functional for kind of my
Mhm.
use.
It's got a stiff yet stretchy kind of belt, dude. So it'd be perfect for that. I don't run because running hurts really bad because I'm a crippled old man. But if I were to run, I would totally wear it. I did wear it when I rucked a lot. And speaking of Kifaru and rucking, man, like, I don't know if you know this, kid, but like I got medically retired. My spine and my hips and my knees are just completely fucked, right?
Yeah.
I just did 6 miles with 50 pounds with that arc frame you guys just dropped too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. And that's what we love to hear. You know what I mean? I remember you talking about that when we were in Nashville. And you know, I get it. I just had sheep show. This guy came up and he's like, dude, he's like, your guys' packs have saved, you know, my life in terms of hunting because now I can go out and pack out game and not have to worry about my back and everything. He's had a ton of back surgeries and all that. So it's like hearing that, you know, it's so awesome being with a company that we strive on quality and we strive on comfort and comfort under weight. And for anyone to be able to do it, it's, you know, it's always good to hear.
Yeah, dude, absolutely, man. And we just did a podcast yesterday actually with a guy, you know, we talked a lot about like it's how bad do you want it? You know what I mean? And if you could do stuff like, you know, me, how bad do I want to be in the woods, man? I want to hunt. I shouldn't be able to be in the woods and I shouldn't be able to do the stuff I'm doing. But, you know, through quality gear, through guys thinking this stuff out, man, like I said, dude, Sunday, 6.2 miles with that's at 49 and some change. So it's just 150 pounds on my back. And, you know, I mean, I'm in Kentucky, so it's not like we don't have the elevation that you guys have, but we have the terrain, right? So we're in bluff country. So it's a lot of up and down, a lot of rocks and all that stuff, dude. So
Yeah.
6 miles on under load, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
dude, I could still walk afterwards, dude. That's seeing a shit
cool.
ton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. That's, you know, that's really the testament of just even myself who have used, you know, other packs in the past before buying a Kifaru on my own. You know, I always felt like, especially under load, like there's failure points within other packs and you kind of have, you know, you lose a lack of confidence in where I'm going to kill something. But after getting a Kifaru, like I could kill anything, anywhere, elk 10 miles back, whatever. I'm going to get that animal out and not have to worry about my pack, you know, malfunctioning or anything like that. Plus, when I get out, I'm going to be able to walk and, you know, could drive home the next, you know, the next day or that night, you know what I mean? So it's a testament, you know, like you said, like fatigue and everything like that. There's not so much fatigue in those areas that, are going to hinder you because that weight's carrying within your whole posterior chain, you know, it's everything's working together and it keeps, you know, all that weight off of different failure points that are just going to wear out one thing or your legs. But yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Carl, I don't know if you know this, man, but I've been carrying a Kifaru for, I don't even know how long, since probably when Jennifer was still in like elementary school. But
did you use them for work, Gary?
I absolutely did. So I didn't use the frame packs, not so much, man. I didn't start using the frame packs until I started getting into hunting. I didn't get into hunting until 2019. That's after I got hurt on my last deployment. Is long story short, I got hurt, had to come off the team, buddies, you know, hunting, and now I'm obsessed, hooked, and it's a whole new life, right? But prior to that, it was a lot of their frameless packs, and more they're like everyday packs or kind of like that 72-hour assault pack style. But like the E&E has been everywhere. It's been to Iraq, it's been to Syria, it's been to Afghanistan, it's been all over Africa, it's been all over Europe, man. That thing right there, dude, like especially when you wear plates, absolutely perfect. It's got just enough molly on there. I used to slap a 4-panel like mag pouch. So you have like the single mags stacked.
Yeah.
I little water bottle pockets on the side. They call them the long mini longs or something like that. Dude, I could stick pyro in there. I could water whatever I needed, dude. I could put extra layers in the back, dude. Like that was the pack to have on pretty much everything, especially the last couple of deployments I did that were more. I did one that was very low vis. So I just carried a solid color E&E pack. I was wearing a lot of civilian clothes. Hell, I was in a suit tie some of the times with a concealed pistol. After that, I was doing CT in northern Iraq, dude. And so like you're doing hits. So you're not doing like prolonged operations. You're basically getting a vehicle, aircraft, whatever, hitting yaks, ripping some dude out of his bed, cuffing him up, throwing him in a truck, and getting him back. But dude, like that was perfect. I'd do SSUs, sensitive site exploitation stuff. I'd have my bags, all my kit in there to do that. I mean, you know, on target stuff like that. Cause I'm also a big like preparation guy, right? Like talk about the EDC stuff, man. Like I want to be prepared in case the worst shit happens. And so I'd have everything I would need in case I had to be out there 24 or 48 hours or whatever on target. So dude, yeah, huge fan of Kifaru, man. Like,
yeah.
You talk
That's
about
awesome.
Like, no failure points, not going to let me down, man. I have a Kifaru platform with me.
Yeah. Yeah. In the most extreme, you know, environments versus
the stickers.
The stickers. we'll fix that. Easy fix.
No.
Yeah.
I'm far less extreme. I just walk through the woods, man. But I appreciate a good product as well.
Yeah.
So
That's
Ken,
awesome.
how did you you know, get involved with Kifaru? You're a young guy like I am, and we're both, you know, in this industry, and I like hearing everybody's you know, entrance stories and how you got spun up with the group that you're with, man.
Yeah. So my my entrance like into Kifaru was definitely not as, you know, planned or whatever as anyone could ever think. You know, I get a lot of questions of like, you're so lucky getting into the situation and all that. And you know, they never really saw the beforehand when I'm living in Western Oregon, just having a dream of living in Wyoming just in general. You know, I lived there in the Star Valley for 2 years out of high school, had to move back to Oregon because it was too expensive and in that area for sure. But I always wanted to get back to Wyoming, and, you know, being a Kifaru customer and everything like that, it was kind of the perfect timing. Like I had built up enough money to move to Wyoming, and Kifaru said they're going to move to Riverton and they're going to be hiring. So I hit them up, said, hey, like I'm going to move to Riverton and I want to get a job, you know, with you guys, like work at Kifaru. And with no goal other than that, I would have swept floors there. I just wanted to be in Wyoming and also work with Kifaru, which, you know, it's an awesome company, but also a very good community. And I hit them up again, said, hey, like I bought a house like in Riverton. Yeah. And meanwhile, that house I bought, I never stepped foot into. I literally saw it on Zillow, hit up the realtor. I was like, hey, go FaceTime me, look at this house. And they FaceTime me and I put an offer in that next day. And got the house, went there, and to sign in January. So I'm coming up actually, the 31st will be 3 years in Wyoming. And got there and I hit up Anders actually, and I was like, hey, you know, like I'm coming here, like, you know, like doing this, like I'm freaking buying a house here and everything, you know, like I'm gonna work for you guys. And pretty much around that spot, he's like, hey, like you're gonna have a job with us. And he basically said like they're not gonna move till June, and like move the company up. And this was in January when I bought the house. So I went and signed the house and everything, and I actually went back to Oregon. I was like, I'm gonna work for a bit there and then, you know, go to Wyoming when they move up there. But after, you know, Oregon is Oregon. I love Oregon. I love living there, but, you know, Oregon is Oregon right now. So I recognize like I have a house in Wyoming, like, and I don't even live in it. Like, so I at the end of February, I started moving everything over, and just I was like, my whole thing was like, I can get an odd-in job. I already have enough money built up. I'll just wait till June. But I ended up coming there. I think it was like early March, and brought all my shit over and drove down to Kifaru just to meet everyone. Like they told me they're going to hire me. I still have not met anyone, like talked to them. So I got there, I drove down to Kifaru and started chatting with everyone, and, you know, got asked like what was my previous like jobs and stuff. And it was, you know, building houses and work with my brother as a maintenance technician where we're framing stuff and all that. And, you know, it was Aaron too. And Aaron's like, hey, like, our contractor's up there and you could go work for him and build on the building until we get up there. So job before, you know, they all got up there. So I was like, yeah, I'll go do that. So the office I'm sitting in right now, I put the studs in these offices, like
Nice.
all of them. So pretty much, you know, built, you know, pretty much the whole thing, with Shane and everything. That was just him and I framing everything, remodeling everything. So it's pretty cool, like, in how that worked out. And it worked out great because they were shipping up pallets, you know, shipping up semi trucks full of pallets. I think it was like 23 semis full of 22 pallets deep every single time of product. And I'm the only one up here. So I would clock in with Kifaru, clock out of Shane, and then clock in with Kifaru, and then unload these semi trucks by myself. So I'd go in with a forklift, put it in the building, in the other building, then run in with my my 2 legs, freaking jack everything up, bring it out, just unloading semis. But no, it was awesome. And like, I don't know, I grew up on a farm growing up and everything like that. Like hard work is easy, so I never batted an eye at anything. Like anything that was asked and everything that's still asked, I will do. But yeah, it was just, it's that thing of like getting your foot in the door, and you don't have to come in, and this is just for anyone that wants to get into the industry. Don't come in. Like I didn't come in thinking like, hey, I'm going to be anything within Kifaru. Like I was just coming to sweep floors, just work hard and whatever, that just progressed. And I was already hunting all the time, even before working at Kifaru. I was hunting out multiple states, taking a lot of time off, going hunting. I'm still going to do that. And, over time that just got recognized and stuff like that. So I started getting put forth more. And like, I never came into the situation being like, at 27 years old, I'm going to go to Alaska and hunt moose for Kifaru. Like never was that an equation, so it's just coming with that headspace of, I just want to get my foot into the door, and I want to work with cool people, and work hard, and don't have the expectations that you're going to become something, because even then, like whatever presence I have within Kifaru or on Instagram, anything like that, I don't care about that at all. Like Instagram could be deleted, like, TikTok ever was, and I would be perfectly fine hunting all the time. Doesn't matter. So it was definitely a crazy sequence and everything to get in there, but I never batted an eye at it at all. I was like, hey, like if I move to Wyoming and I fail with Kifaru or whatever, I don't get a job, I'm still in Wyoming, like the greatest state, around, and I can hunt as much as I can, you know what I mean? So, just go with the mindset of, if you go with the mindset that you're not going to fail, you're most likely, highly likely not going to fail, so just have a good mindset and come in to work hard, not work hard to become something, you know what I mean? So yeah, definitely all worked out, and I'm here and loving it. So yeah.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, we're all trying to move to Wyoming too. So
Yeah.
You do live in
years.
Yeah. Wyoming's the best, and I love that state so much.
Yeah. I was just up there right before we went to Alaska in August, man. I love it, man. Spent some time at Cody. Went down to Riverton, and of course, nobody was there. You guys were all.
I'm trying to think where I was. Yeah,
I think you were at an expo.
Yes, I was in Salt Lake City, and then as soon as I got back from that, I went antelope hunting. So I was I was gone for a bit, especially once August 15th starts for antelope, like all the way through the fall. I'm going to be hunting the whole time.
Yeah.
But no, I was hoping to see you there because I knew you were going to Alaska. And then, we're both like talking about your trip and then when I'm going and stuff like that. But no, that's cool. The Cody area is really nice. Up there it's pretty beautiful. Yep. Yeah.
So I'm actually related to William Cody. So we had to go there. There. So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Small world, man. Yeah, dude, that's where my first Western hunt was, in Wyoming, and I fell in love with that state, man. And if I didn't love my job so much here in Georgia, we'd be out there too, man. But I think it's a really good perspective that you have on life, man. And I think a lot of people need to hear that, right? We definitely live in a world where people have a lot of expectations of what they feel like they are deserved or owed or whatever, and not a lot of humility out there these days, man. And sometimes you just need to show up and like you said, like expectations out the door. I'm here to work hard and invest in good people, right? People who are going to respect your hard work, and then obviously that's been reciprocated. You've found a community that appreciates that hard work, and I want you to be a guest speaker for my high school students, and tell them that little spiel right there, like, hey, you're not fucking special. Like, nobody owes you anything. All you have, the only thing you're in control of in this entire world is like how hard you're willing to work, right? You don't have to be anything spectacular, and that can open up a myriad of doors for you.
Yep. And I think that's the whole thing of like, I never go into anything being like, I'm special at all. I am not special. anybody can do what I do. Like, if you really put your mind to it, I mean, I've been through the whole gamut of being, very healthy and like very unhealthy in a sense of like overweight and all that stuff. And I wasn't born a good hiker, a good hunter, anything like that. That's just time and effort, and the time you put forth and what you actually like. If you say like, hey, you're very lucky and like all this stuff, like, yeah, there is some luck involved in hunting and everything, but did you see the 7 weekends I scouted for these mule deer and trying to figure out their exact path and then shot one opening morning right at first light? Like, the 7 weekends of climbing almost 4,000 feet every single weekend. Like, people don't see the effort. Maybe I should be better at like showing them that, but it's never in the mindset. Like, I go into every season. This is just, with life and everything, but I go into every season like I'm not going to kill anything, like my effort is going to count for how much, success I'm going to have in the fall. So I'm going to put in the most effort I have. And I know at the end of the day, if I put in all that effort and didn't make it, then it wasn't meant to be, like I'm not going to be so dwelling on that. It goes with the whole life of Kifaru and everything too. Cause like I said, there's no guarantees that I was going to get a job. And I knew that going in, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm going to work my ass off to get a job. And it worked out. So it definitely it's wild, this generation and even my generation, it's so many people have different mindsets, and that's why I value the way I grew up and on a farm and everything like that, working hard. But I hope that, the new generation, like, or my generation, or, you guys and everything are teaching people to get back into that mindset of value of hard work, and you're not given anything in life.
It's super funny how the harder you work, the luckier you become.
Yeah. the more consistent you are. Yeah.
Well, you're lucky. Oh,
yeah. Weird.
Yep. Novel concept, man. That's cool. Yeah. It's funny you say you go into every season expecting not to kill anything, man, because, I understand social media is a highlight reel, but holy shit, dude, you had a phenomenal 2024 season. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I want to do a dive into that as much as you're willing to talk about it. I know you probably told these hunting stories ad nauseum, man, but backing up a little bit, man, did you grow up hunting in Oregon? Like, was that part of your upbringing, hunting culture, part of you growing up?
Yeah, very much so. All my brothers hunted and everything like that. It was kind of my grandpa that actually got like my brothers really into hunting. He died when I was very young, so I was relying a lot on my brothers, and I'm telling you right now, like the way, at least the passion that I have was all built by my brothers. Like, they have videos of them going around with these old cameras and stuff, and they're hunting, doing, crazy stuff. And there's like 6-year-old, 7-year-old me, like just with them, like constantly. And, they took me out duck hunting, anything that I could go, they would take me. And I definitely value that and know, like, in a certain sense, like that is lucky in a sense, like I had brothers that wanted to bring me into that light and build me up with it. And, I got to watch them as they're learning, as teenagers and early, adults on how to hunt. So it kind of fast tracked me a little bit more. But they definitely built me into what I am now in a way. And, I'm very grateful for that. And growing up, we're eating wild game, and growing up on a farm too, we had cattle and all that stuff. So, watching them and how hard they worked, the amount of times, like, I'm 8 years old walking around and my brother's like, you need to pick up the pace and also not, slosh your feet around on the ground, like pick up your feet and everything, so it's, very tough love and everything. And like, there's one instance I was 12 years old, we're turkey hunting. And this is kind of something I remember back to, and this sense of like hard work will get you what you want. And like, we're turkey hunting. All I want to do is shoot a turkey. It's everything like that. And we're hiking this bottom, and at the top of this mountain in Oregon, like some of the spots, like you're hunting mountain birds, and we're going this gobbler goes at the top early in the morning. And we kept hunting the bottom because I was like, it's at the top. Like, I don't know, it's a youth hunt. So my brother doesn't care. Like, he's not trying to kill one. I'm the one that's supposed to kill one. And we hike all day, don't find anything, come back. And he's like, hey, like that turkey goblet at the top, I imagine they're up there. He's like, we're going to go up there one last ditch effort, see if they're there. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that, And he's like, you're doing it. So we started hiking up. I'm dying, like behind him, like just sucking wind. And he's like 40 yards in front of me. And then all I see is him hit the ground real quick. And he looks back at me said, "Get the fuck up here." And and I quickly just turned that whole exhaustion, everything out the window, boom, right up to him real quick. And he's like, "Hey, like, poke your head up." He's like, you're going to see just a red head, like, just a gobbler just sitting right there. He's like, "Put that bead on his head and shoot it." And went up, boom, shot him. And still to this day, like, I think I've shot 12 or 13 turkeys. That is the biggest helmet I ever shot at 12. And, and that whole experience, because I was just done, just that whole thing of like, I gave up on the hunt and all that stuff. He put that into me, like, you're not done until you're done, like, you have so much effort left and all that stuff. And that's something I value with my brother's putting that work ethic into me. And, it's crazy. We killed a lot of stuff together. I've killed more stuff, especially with my brother Cody, than anyone I've ever hunted with. And so yeah, definitely grew up in the hunting aspect, and it took many years to get more proficient. But they had a big influence on me for sure.
That's awesome, man.
That's
It's
awesome.
hard. It's hard not to be envious of that, because Carrie and I didn't have that growing up, man, and that's really cool
Yeah.
that you did have that.
Your brother want to take me turkey hunting?
You guys would be hiking all day to get one shot at 70 yards, probably a bit running. it could happen.
We need anything to finally kill a turkey.
Yeah. Yeah. He probably
Man,
would. He's nice.
Are you and your brother still close? Do you guys still hunt together?
So that's the thing is, like, I've moved to Wyoming and he's still in Oregon, and we haven't hunted together since I've moved to Wyoming. We're definitely all still close. With my brother Cody, he's still in Oregon. My brother Cameron, he's in North Idaho, and I do a hunt. The last 4 years I've done this hunt is go up there and hunt with him and the family during Thanksgiving. So I still hunt with my brother Cam, just that Thanksgiving, whitetail hunt and stuff like that. But Cody, I haven't hunted with him since I've moved, but this year he's going to draw a Wyoming elk tag and deer tag. So, this year is that hunt with him. Like, I'm so excited. Yeah, like, we're going to go. He has enough points to draw those tags. We're going to take off pretty much, hunt the whole month of September. And we might do a little film with Kifaru with that. Kind of like, a roots film. So it's going to be like me and my brother hunting together. Then I think I'm going to go back in October and hunt blacktails in Oregon. So kind of do the cross, in between. I think that'd be a cool aspect of, him and I hunting together and all that stuff. But yeah, so this year we'll be hunting together for sure, which I'm really excited about. That's like my main excitement for 2025.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really cool goal.
Yeah.
I just drew that. I got my first Wyoming elk this year. Finally drew the general tag. I've been chasing that point creep for a couple years and finally got it. And
yeah,
man, I hope he gets one, because there's sure nothing like it, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the thing too, is I've kind of almost hunted 5 seasons here just in general. I don't know. There's nothing I can find easier than elk in the state. Like, I don't have to scout whatsoever. I have some good spots. Like, I don't think I've ever been out, especially in Wyoming, never been out a day where I have not got into bulls and been almost drawn back on bulls. So it should be a fun hunt. I have multiple spots we're going to go. So the deer are going to be another question, because deer, they're tough. And like, I have to scout them extremely hard just to find, a couple shooters or just one shooter for myself. He won't be as picky as me, so that'll be a lot easier. But we're kind of, that elk hunt is kind of mainly what we're focused on. Then if we have, more days, we'll go out and see if we can shoot a nice buck. I'm going to focus on deer right off the bat, because I already told him, like, he's not coming until like the 7th of September, because I'm going to try to shoot a big buck in the first, those couple of days, but yeah, no, the elk hunt should be a lot of fun. And we've been in some really good rut fest, like in Oregon with Roosevelt's together. But he will never experience anything like Wyoming, when you have 6 bulls beagle in one basin just going nuts. So I'm excited for that and see his reactions. It's going to be fun.
Dude, I'm excited to go hunt Wyoming. I just started buying preference points for Wyoming, so hopefully here in a couple of years I'll get out there, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. And, you definitely want to keep buying those points, because it seems to be getting harder and harder to draw for non-residents in the state. Which, that's one thing being a resident is I get that tag every year. Like, and I do value that within Wyoming and how they do take care of their residents, compared to like Colorado, who seem to take care of the non-residents more than residents more than often. but Wyoming definitely takes care of their residents more than anything. So, but yeah, I mean, I also was a non-resident wanting to hunt Wyoming, so I know the struggle of trying to do that.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, so my wife should retire in about 5 years, and hopefully that's where we're heading is up there. So I'll be a resident in about 5 years.
In about 5 years, yeah. You'll be loving it. That's no doubt.
Yeah.
Outdoorsman's paradise.
Yeah.
I did talk to Luke yesterday, and he said it was -15 the last several nights in a row. And
don't tell Holly that, right? We'll let her find out after we're already settled in, all right?
Move there in the summer, right? Get her settled.
We're getting a heat wave this week. It's going to be -6 tomorrow. Let's just cancel that out. But it's going to be 7 degrees the next day, 12 degrees, 13 degrees, but highs of 36. It's going to be hot.
Put on your swimsuits, boys.
Yeah, we're going to go get some sun.
That's sick, dude. Well, you had a phenomenal 2024 season, man. You crushed it. I love seeing, other killers out there. I also like your, you said maybe I need to be better about posting like the prep or like showing the behind the scenes stuff. I don't think so, man. I like your approach. You're just like, this is a deal. This is
kind of, it's kind of just straight highlight reel, like just, just dead animals. I mean, I do, I update my stories quite a bit, like throughout the season and stuff like that. But I kind of liked at least my profile to kind of be pretty clean, like with what my kind of personality is too. Like I'm not going to be the guy that's going to sit there because the amount of content I do have on my phone with everything, I mean, I could be whatever those, people are, but that's not me. And like, I just want to not throw fluff out there and be like, oh, this is me at the gym working out, on like an actual post. Like I could do that maybe on my story a few times, but on like an actual post and everything like that, like, everybody knows like if you're putting in the work or not. And I like to show the work through success. Yep. But no, it was, the last, 2024 was great. And so was, a couple years like previous coming up to that, but 2024 is definitely the best, most fun year I had just in general. And that's with my own personal stuff, but also with helping others get their first animals and stuff like that.
Which is always super rewarding, that part of it.
Yep.
Yeah, man. We're talking spring bear 2024. You got 2?
Yep.
Yeah. And then fast forward, antelope with a bow. We had high country muley with a bow. We had elk with a bow. 2 mountain whitetail. Is that in northern Idaho with your brother?
Yep. Mountain whitetail in Idaho and Montana.
Very
and then
cool.
And then that moose in Alaska. Yeah. So, it was great, especially to start off the year of spring bear. Which is I love spring bear. Like if my echelon of like animals I love to hunt, it's mule deer, at least right now. Mule deer, spring bear, and then elk. Especially, I mean, I love moose, and if I can hunt moose every year, I'd be doing that. But mule deer, spring bears, and then elk. Like going into spring, especially right now, I'm getting pretty psyched up. But it's a fun hunt, and I do it. I don't bait or anything like that. I like doing spot and stalk, because it's the aspect of a mountain hunt. Like it's steep stuff. Like, I mean, you're hunting in even gnarlier stuff than you're hunting mule deer in. Yeah. Especially in that early part, like hitting those soft slopes, like where the bears coming out and denning and feeding. But no, the past like 3 years, I've really dove into spring bear and been loving it. And, so I get a tag in Montana and Wyoming. I'll hunt Montana first, try to get a bear knocked out, and then start hunting Wyoming. But last year was insane. I think I ended up seeing like 26 black bears on the spring alone. And it was awesome. Like I killed my Montana bear. It's a pretty good bear. And that was a pretty cool sequence. Like I spotted that bear at like, I think 500 something yards, and he was kind of moving pretty quick. So I had to drop down off drainage and get on the other side to try to cut him off. And I got on the other side. He popped out like 150 yards from me, just coming right at me, like just kind of slowly just moving. And so I kind of just sat there and just watched him like, huh. And if I had my bow, I think I could have killed him with my bow because he would have just kept coming. But he got to like 100, and then he just like stopped and sat on his butt. And I just pumped him right in the chest, like pumped him. But they're tough, man. I hit him right in the chest, and he still rolled, got up, and I had to shoot him like 2 times on the run.
Jeez.
And yeah, they're a tough animal. But Yeah, so that was successful, and that was a backpack trip into Montana, and came back, and I think I had, it was like during the week off work, I actually had to go to a show, and that was actually pretty depressing. I had to go to a show for the opener of Spring Bear in Wyoming, and opener Spring Bear, so I'm gone. I came back, and the next day after I got back, it was after work, I went out to a spot here, just a real quick hunt, and ended up shooting a really nice bear, which that was fun. I think I got out at like 11:30 at the night, like packed it out, got out, and then went to work the next morning. But that was a fun hunt. Shot that bear like 150 yards. Like both bear shots were pretty tight. But and then kind of went right into summer. And summer, I spent the whole time scouting hard. And I was scouting these bucks. Found a really big buck like right off the bat early in July. In which, if he's a really big buck early in July, that buck's gonna be a slammer. And found him, but then on July, I think I found him on the 13th. On July 22nd, I lost him. Like, I don't know. I don't know what happened. He never showed back up. But as I kept sitting there and watching the hillside, I'm like, God, there's big bucks everywhere. I think I found 3 solid bucks that I'm like, these, like, 175 plus, but 2 of them like 185 plus. And then the buck that I ended up shooting, which I knew he was, because he was only a 3x4, so he's not going to be touching into that 180s, but in the 170s. But he was the oldest buck in there. And I've always been, the buck I killed 3 years ago is 9.5 years old. The buck I killed last year is 8.5. So like, I love those, old mature bucks. So he was at the top, like I'll shoot him and then the 2 other ones. So I sat there for 7 weekends patterning these deer because it was the most difficult sense of like how to figure them out. They would never bend the open or any spot. They'd always, big open hillside, but they would feed bed in timber or on the backside in timber. But there's one route that the 2 bucks, the one I shot and the one for the biggest buck, they would go over this saddle and bed on the backside in timber. So after a while, I'm sitting there, I'm like, that's my only approach, is I have to try to ambush them, get on their side, like right, in the dark. And then as soon as it light, I need to pop over and see where they're at below me. So opening day, went around the backside. I've already seen, I saw that big buck the night before. The buck I shot could never see him. Like, I just barely knew he was there. I didn't even know if he was still there. And the big buck was on that hillside the night before, so good chance of shooting him. And he was probably only like 4.5 though. And I'm like, he's like high 180s, maybe touching 190. But I was like, it's either him or that big deer or the old deer. Went over there. As soon as light popped up, I peeked on the other side, and the buck I shot, that big 3x4, he was feeding right below me at 37 yards. It worked out perfectly. Yeah, I shot that deer like 10 minutes into opening light. So that was awesome. And like you could tell, like, I'm obsessed with mule deer. Like, their whole patterns and like trying to figure them out.
Yeah,
they are awesome, and they're so smart, like very keen. And so that was like, a great opener going into it. But I had 5 days to hunt for deer. So I planned out those 5 days because we were leaving on the 6th to go to Alaska for the moose hunt. And luckily shot my buck opening day. So I went right back home, finished getting everything ready for the moose hunt. And we left on the 6th of September. We actually got flown out on the 7th. So we got to Anchorage on the 6th, got flown out that next day back to the cabin. And, building into this hunt, the Alaska trip was my dream hunt my entire life. Like, that's my bucket list hunt, was shooting moose in Alaska. So like doing that, and especially, a huge thank you to, Aaron DeRose at Dillinger and like all those guys for making it happen. Especially to make it happen when I'm still so young and everything. But lead into that hunt, I was freaking out. We knew about this hunt for 2.5 years. Like, it's coming up, and everything. And to be flying through the Alaska range, like on, in a beaver plane, it was insane. Like, so surreal. And I'm trying to take as much videos as possible because like I'm going to relive this forever. And we got in there, flew into the cabin, started going around, and Aaron DeRose kind of like showing us all everything. And he's like, there's this area, I'm going to take you guys. He's like, I've never hunted it before because it was hard to take clients into there. Just the way, because it's not going to be rear glassing, you're going to be in tight, like super flat, and it's on the river. So you have to cross the river to get to where, you can really hunt. And he cut the airstrip in 2 days before he got there. So we go mobbing in because he's like, you guys want to fly out tonight? Because we got there like 4 p.m. or something like that. And we're like, yeah, like let's get out there so we can start hunting the next day. And got out there, and Anders, so I'm a shooter and Anders is a shooter, and we have a camera guy, Roy. So right off the bat, we kind of figured out who's going to be first shooter. So we're like, let's flip a coin, and then we'll switch off each day. So we flipped a coin. I won the toss, but I told Anders, I was like, you can be shooter first day, and then we'll start switching off. And the first 3 days didn't see nothing. Like, I mean, I'm sitting there, and I've never called a moose before. I'm a Western, elk hunter and stuff like that. So, which is funny because Aaron, like his tips was like, you guys are going to call for 3 days in one spot, not move at all. Don't move at all. Call for 3 days and then move, but don't move, maybe half mile, like even less. Call for 3 days again, then move again. He's like, Kenneth, he's like, I know you go hard and like, you like to go chase elk and everything. He's like, you're not going to chase elk like you're going to chase moose because you're going to kill a bull 5 miles back because you will do it. And then you have to pack it back. And so I did like pound that into my head. Like, I just need to stick to the plan and everything like that. So the first 3 days we called at one spot, didn't see Jack. But we hadn't crossed the river yet. So next day it was supposed to be pretty nice. And I'm the shooter, and I'm like, let's cross the river. And one tip I could get, like, if you have your maps that on Onyx or whatever, what I did was when we were flying in on the bush plane, like over where our camp is, I took a video of what the whole landscape looked like because you can't glass it. So I took a video of it, and I would sit there for all day, like when we're not seeing shit, sit there looking at that video, trying to pick a spot, and then finally I like on the edge of this burn, it kind of goes around and then kind of meets up top, and there's like a patch of trees out in front. And I was like, let's cross and get to that patch of trees. And so we crossed, got over there, calling all day, nothing. And I was climbing trees like crazy. So I've been climbing I climbed this one tree like 50 times that day, just so I could see like an extra, 100 yards. But I get up, I call from up there too and everything, and get back down. And it started to rain at like around 5 p.m. Get down, put my rain pants on, kind of just waiting, see how much it's going to come. And I turn around and look out into the burn. I just see paddles just coming through the burn. And instantly, that's the first Alaskan moose I've ever seen, ever saw. And instantly, I'm like, there's a bull and everything. And I gave Anders the call because he could rake it on the tree, and gave him the call. And I'm trying to glass and just see, because in Alaska it has to be 4 brow tines on one side, or at least this unit, 4 brow tines on one side or 50 inches wide. And the last thing we were going to do was shoot a sub bull. We're making sure that thing is legal by far. And when I first glassed him, I could see 4 on his one side, and I'm like, shooter. But then when Anders came up, before he went back, he's like, is it legal? I'm like, yeah, it has 4. He's like, are you sure? And that put me right into a spin. Like, I'm like, I don't know. Like, did I see 4, So I'm sitting there forever. I'm trying to figure him out. And I'm like, he looks over 50, but I've never seen one before. And I'm like, he looks massive.
Judge, yeah.
Yeah, 50 inches, I'm trying to think of like the size of like a razor, or like, like a side by side, and like what that looks like in my head during the moment. But I'm still trying to look at his brows, but it's so thick, and he's kind of rubbing trees. But then at one point I did see, again, I saw 4 on the other side. So I'm like, okay, like he has 4. Been looking through my scope, but I can't get a shot right there. And all of a sudden, like I feel the wind just start to swirl. And it hit the back of my neck, and it's like shooting out, but then shooting right toward him. And he's just standing there looking at us forever. And then finally he turns to take off. And like when he was coming in, like especially with elk or even like deer and stuff, I don't really get like jacked up before, like in terms of like shaking or anything like that. But when he was coming in, my typewriter leg was hammering. Like I was sitting there just shaking. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is happening, and shaking like leaf. But as soon as that bull turned to run, I just like clicked off. Like I'm like, I need to kill this bull, and I'm getting a shot in him. And so I started running through the burn, and yeah, I'm just jumping over, like just running through it, trying to get a shot. Like you can hear in the video, like, wah, wah, like I'm trying to stop him. He stopped at one point. I pulled up. We couldn't get a shot. It was too thick. So he kind of moved up again. I pulled up again, and I had like a 12-inch window of his back, kind of back of his lungs, and pumped him and he kind of hit him and kind of stumbled, and then he took off again. He ran like 20 yards and stopped again. And I don't care what animal it is, especially a moose, I am laying down lead until that thing's on the ground. So yeah, and you can see the video. I'm just like, boom, I shoot him again, boom, shoot him again. And like in those biking armaments, there's 3 rounds in the mag. So I shot those 3 into him, and I'm like walking forward. I unzip my admin pouch in the bino harness, take one out, throw it in, take it forward, pull up again, pump him again. And after that 4th shot, you just see like, him tip back and then fall over. And then all my arms just like go up, just like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Like even after shooting animals, I really don't get that pumped up, but that was just such like a surreal experience of, in Alaska, in the environments, like it's been raining every day and all that stuff. And even when I shot him, it just started, raining pretty good. And I'm like, this is it. I'm like, not like, this is the experience. Like, I love this. And especially, with the river there, crossing the river in this, Alaskan, whatever boat, with the oar that snapped off on the first trip over. So we had 1 oar. And then somehow, I got deemed the captain of the boat. So I had to like go back and forth to shuttle stuff. And it was insane. And especially the area we're at and just the big moose, like walking up on that thing, they are massive, like unreal. Like, so after that event, I came back and shot an elk. I walked up on my bull and I'm like, yeah, this thing's tiny, like this thing's little compared to that moose. But yeah, it was nuts. I think we cut, because in that unit, you have to take the ribs off entirely and like everything. So at the end of it, you just have a spinal cord and guts. That's it. And so we had all those bags, and luckily Roy, our camera guy, is a beast as well, because he's like, I'm gonna pack like the whole time, like as long as you guys, because some camera guys don't. But he was all about it. He's like, I'm gonna start. He's like, I'm here. He's like, I'm gonna pack meat. And so it was 9 total, packs, like divvied up, but for 3 people, so it's 3 trips per person bringing it back. So it wasn't too bad. Luckily, like, and then Anders bull. So I killed mine on day 4. We got it pretty much packed out the next day on day 5. Day 6 and 7, it was pretty much a wash. Like it was raining the whole time, super windy, especially day 7, windy and whipping wind all through the night. But day 8, it was supposed to clear up. So we wanted to cross to get back into that burn. But when I shot my bull, as soon as I shot him, we walked up on him. There's a cow freaking out across like 600 yards from us across the burn. She's just losing her mind, calling. And that's the first time we heard a cow moose too. And because for a while there, I didn't think I could call worth a shit. And then finally called mine and got one, Yeah, I'm like, oh, so that's what it sounds like. And I hit up one of the guides when we got back. She was like making like, wah, wah, just going off. And I hit up one of the guys. She did it for 2 hours too. And it was nuts. But I hit up one of the guys that night, hit up Jordan. I was like, hey, like if a cow's like making a bunch of noise and like all that stuff, and he's like, yeah, he's like, there's a bull on her. He's like, there's a bull over there on her. And my bull came from that direction. So I'm like, okay. And my bull had 2, he had bruise marks on his shoulders, like, from the length of his shoulder to his hindquarter. So that's a big, paddle. And so the whole thing was like, we're going to get back to that side, but we're going to go hunt the other side of the burn. So day 8 came, we crossed, we hiked all the way down and got to like where the sliver of trees came out, and like the burn kind of covers around it, then out into the big burn. So we got to the edge of that sliver of trees. I called, and not within 5 minutes, this cow starts walking toward us. Like she's walking right at us. And instantly in my mind, I'm like, there's a bull here somewhere. Like this cow is not going to be by herself. And kept calling. She got to like 50 yards and she kind of got up a little bit in front of us, and our wind's kind of shooting that way a little bit. But I looked down the burn, down that tree line edge, and I just see the right side of a paddle like poking out of this tree. And instantly I'm like, holy shit, we got another one here. And yeah, it's happening again. And so I told them, and then Roy is off to my right. He looks and he's like, I see 2 cows. He's like, I don't see a bull. So the way he was standing right behind 2 cows. So there's 3 total cows. That other cow took off that was in front of us because she winded us. So that bull kind of turned parallel and kind of angled her and went into the trees. He's at like 150 yards probably. But all I could see on his front side were 2 on that one side, 2 brow tines. So I'm like, I don't know. And then Anders like, make sure he's legal, definitely, you know. And so he comes back out and I could see 3 on the other. And I'm like, like, I don't know, you know, and because I hadn't seen how wide he was, just because it was, you know, he keeps turning his head and everything. And the cows keep walking toward us. And because I just keep calling, the cows keep walking. So he turns and circles them and then comes and like faces us. And I'm like, Anders, shoot that bull. Like, you're shooting that motherfucker because he is definitely well over 50. And he also had like a kicker coming out. So that gave him a little more. And he's followed those cows right into 50 yards. And the video doesn't say like that bull's just swaying coming in, you know, just following those cows. And Anders pumps him in the heart the first shot, like right off the bat. And that bull only went like 15 yards and piled up. And that was just like the more, like definitely like my killing and everything like that. But I'm like, it'd be so awesome if we both can kill a bull, like, you know, just together. And we're standing like right next to each other. And then he shoots a bull. We literally look over at each other and like both like at the same time say like, holy shit, like, like this is crazy. Like we just, you know, never hunted moose before. We get dropped off and we killed 2 bulls in 8 days. Like, just unreal. And we killed both bulls up less than a mile from camp. So yeah, perfect. It was perfect. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, but even like those hindquarters weigh as much as I do, like easily. And throwing them on our frames and everything like that, like our frames are tough as hell. Like I already knew that coming in because I've already had that kind of weight on there. But packing out a moose is just the biggest test you could put onto a frame. And especially bone in and all that. But yeah, got it back and it was insane. Like the whole experience, because we flew back to the lodge. We were kind of stuck at the lodge for a few days and I was having the time of my life. I was like, I'm stuck at the lodge, so I'm going out. One of the pilots is a resident, and in that unit, they can't guide for sheep, but residents can hunt sheep. So he didn't fly one day and he's like, hey, you want to go hunt sheep? So I was like, yeah, let's go. Yeah. So we drove up the canyon and we're literally hiking in the Alaskan range looking for lambs. You know, we saw a bunch of lambs in ewes, but I'm like, I'm on a sheep hunt right now. Like, this is crazy. And came back that next day. We went out and caught salmon. Like, it was just, and then went and found like a huge moose paddle that I ended up bringing back with me. I flew with it coming back, but it was the most like, that whole experience is going to live with me forever. You know, just, it's hard to describe and so surreal. I hope everyone can like feel that. And I know it's like such a hard and, you know, kind of unattainable hunt. But I'll tell you what, like if you're a younger guy and you want to get into those experiences, start guiding. Like start guiding. It's not like if you get your foot in the door and become a packer, like a lot of those guys, they need packers. And what does it carry? I think if you pack for 2 years, so
it's 60 days in the field. So it's average around 2 years. Yeah, you have to have 60 days under contract in the field. And then there's like, you have to be able to demonstrate hide care, meat care, things like that. And then each unit's got a specific set of rules. And so each outfitter, like my outfitter guides in 16B, right? So that specific unit has its own set of rules that you have to know too. So if you're going to bounce around for different outfitters, you may have to
do them all.
Yeah. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like young guys, like if you can go and do that and you want to get those experiences, because that's something I'm like, these guides get to come up and do this every single year. Like, yes, they're, you know, maybe not pulling the trigger, but they're seeing moose hit the ground, like, and the whole experience of it entirely. And, you know, you want to go get this experience. That's probably the best and more cheaper way to do it. Plus you're getting paid. Yep. And, you know, maybe that'll lead to, you know, you getting a hunt from that outfitter or anything like that. Like, you know, now just how good your outfitter is. But yeah, I'm already dreaming about it. Like, I'm like, I need to get back to Alaska. I want to do that every single year, you know? So I'm trying to figure out at least how to do that and all that. But that hunt was incredible. Definitely something new, and like hunting, you know, they're similar to elk in the sense you can call them, but they're very like, they don't move really fast in the sense of like getting to you, you know? It could take them forever to get to you. That's why you call for 3 days. They just got to show up. But yeah, that was great. And, you know, we got everything back. I ended up getting all the meat back, and it was 618 pounds of finished weight.
Oh, wow.
Of meat. Like, that's meat in my freezer, 618 pounds.
Meat.
Yeah.
And meat seems to be amazing.
Oh, Dude, I love it. I just had it tonight. Yeah, I just had it tonight. Like I've been eating it. Like I have this whole routine of like making elk burgers and then like eggs and like stuff like that with it. And it's been awesome. But yeah, so we got all the stuff back, and the film just dropped. And so if you guys want to check that out, it's on our Kifaru page. It's called Burn Bulls. Been getting a lot of great feedback from it. And it's a cool way that Roy kind of edited it, because it shows our personalities a lot. And also how like the experience, we're kind of immersed into it, and how grateful we were to be in that presence of the Alaska rain, the whole Alaska backcountry, and like hunting moose. So if you guys want to check like a real hunt, like where it's, I'm just a regular dude. Honor's a regular dude. Like, we're nothing special at all. Like we just love to hunt and to be, put in that situation and like having that opportunity. Definitely very grateful and how it all worked out and everything like that. But yeah, after that, I got back to Wyoming and went out for elk, had an insane elk season. Like I got back the 19th, and I went out that night. Like as soon as we got back, we got here at 3 p.m., drove up to Riverton, and I didn't take a shower. I just threw everything in, went right back out elk hunting. And I called in the bull that night and almost shot him. It was insane. But yeah, I ended up killing a pretty nice fix. I snuck in on the herd. That's one thing, like tactics wise, but like I love it when bulls are bugling, especially in that late season. Bulls are bugling and they're not really responsive to you, but they're so responsive in a sense of their cows and everything. If they're cracking off and they got cows, don't call, just sneak in and whack them. Like you'll eventually get a good topography or just be able to sneak in enough. Cause I ended up sneaking in. I shot that bull at 30 yards, broadside, heart, shot him right in the heart. But that was a cool hunt. And then after that, after that hunt, I kind of just went into helping people. My cousins were coming from Oregon. They came and they've never hunted in a sense like Wyoming, but also like pretty nice bucks. So I took them to one of my good areas and I'm like, hey, like you're not shooting small bucks. Like that's, yeah, I know I'm from Oregon too. Like you guys still live in Oregon. We're not shooting spikes and forked horns. Like we're shooting nice bucks. And so I went out with him the first day going out there, and my cousin Ryan, like, hasn't really killed like anything real big. And, I hadn't scouted this area all season, but I know there's deer going to be a good quality buck in there. And sure shit, like we're sitting there in the morning, glassed up a really nice, like 164 point. And he was all, pumped up and everything like that. He shot that buck. I think it was at like 710 or something like that. It was a long shot. I know he shoots a ton and everything like that. And he dropped that buck right in his tracks. And that was cool just to see. Like he was so pumped and like grateful, for the whole experience, especially me helping them out, like putting them in that area. And he shot a buck of
too, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he dropped a bomb. I have the video and it's insane. But
awesome.
he smoked that deer, helped them cut it up, brought it back to their camp, and they were going to be there for like 7 days. And my other cousin had a tag. But even then, before I left, because I had to go back to work, I was like, hey, like, do not shoot a small buck. Like there's another 4-point in here we saw, like you can maybe shoot him, but I'm like, either shoot him or shoot a bigger buck or shoot a real goofy one. Like he's fork and horn, he's old as hell, never going to amount to anything. And he ended up texting me like day 6 or something like that. And he's like, I just shot a goofy one. And he shot this weird looking 3x4 that I'm like, deer was probably 4.5, 5.5. And I was like, that deer's not going to amount to nothing. Like definitely good. Yeah. But they were so pumped and grateful, and everything. And I hadn't hunted with them in a long time. So going out with them was fun. And then I have a coworker here, Amanda. I think it was a couple weeks after that. She'd never killed an elk before. And I had a free weekend. I was like, hey, like, let's go out, and see if we can kill a bull. And was him and Han. And I'm like, hey, like, I'm telling you right now, we're going to get an elk. Like we're going to find a bull and you're going to shoot one. And you have a deer tag too. We can see a good buck and you could shoot it. Like this is an opportunity. This is like the only free time I have. Like let's go out and see if we can get one. And she put in the effort. Like we had to hike. I think it was almost 2 miles, but it was like pretty up. Like I think it was 12 or 1,300 feet of elevation gain within that 2 miles. So it's pretty good. But she trucked on and we made it up to the top. And as soon as we got to the top, I'm like 40 yards in front of her, spot a really nice 6-point. And she's using my rifle. And I shot that rifle the day before, shot out to 500 the last 2 shots, and was, like perfect. And we finally got into a spot and set up, ranged the bull. He's 499. And I'm like, this bull's dead, to be fine. So I dialed everything up for him, like, just put the crosshairs on it and shoot. Like, it's dead calm. Like, you're going to smoke him. And she shot him and smoked him at 499. And that was her first elk ever. She shot some really nice mule deer, but she's never killed an elk. And just her, and she is so excited, like, and happy. Like, that's what, for me, like, if I would have done that, I'd been like, it's cool, but like, to see the excitement from her was so awesome. And, we packed the bull out, and she kind of got her first experience of an elk pack out, which, she could tell you about it. She did not have a good time, but I had a great time. But I think I ended up packing out probably 80% of that bull, but it was all worth it. Like, I love doing it, and I love packing heavy weight. But no, it was cool helping her. And then I think after that, went to Montana. I shot a nice whitetail there, and that night I'm packing up, and then I have a buddy with Montana knife hits me up, and he's like, hey, like, if you kill one, like, do you want to go out elk hunting, like, the next day? And I'm packing out this buck. I shot him 4.5 miles back. I have all my camp, the whole buck in there. I mean, I'm packing just as much of my body weight almost. And I texted him on top of my, like, I'm dying. I'm like, hey, like, let's do it. Like, let's go out, and he's like all pumped up. So I got back to the truck. I drove all the way up there that night to Missoula and met him there. But we just looked at a map the night before, and I'm like, hey, like, this has the whole recipe for late season bulls. Like, let's go into this. And he hadn't seen a legal bull all rifle season, so he's, like, and he's never hunted elk. Like, he's hunted elk, but never successfully got one. And so I'm trying to help him as much as possible.
He's a big bear guy, isn't he?
Huh? Bear guy.
He's a big bear guy.
Yeah. He loves them bears for sure, but I might have him a little taste on the elk because he recognizes how much meat he can get from elk.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's good meat. But we got out to this opening, hiked in a little ways, and it's a big south slope, and we're on on the side of it. We come out to this opening. Sure enough, I glassed 4 bulls up at 1,000 yards, and I'm like, perfect. Like, this worked out perfect. They're all legal, and they're kind of moving into the timber, so we're trying to book it across this hillside, but it's so open. I'm like, I really don't want to spook them. So we're moving a little slow, and we got to like 775 before they went into the trees. But they went into the trees, and I'm like, hey, we're still fine. Like, it's fresh snow. We're going to track them down if they go over the hill, but I bet they're going to bed like on the edge of that timber. But we're just going to still hunt through and shoot them, like, if they pop up or they move. So we get up top above them. I'm checking to see if they're going over the ridge, but we're just going 10 yards, stopping, glassing, 10 yards, stopping, glassing, listening. And eventually, like, it's funny because, like, I'm up in front of him like 10 yards, and I glassed down, and I could just see through this one opening. I could see the back of an elk's head, like, and his antlers are like 230 yards. I could just see, him bedded. So I, like, went kind of, like, turned back to him, like, I just made the spot of my life, and I'm like, you're going to shoot a bull. And we kind of, like, sat there for like 15 minutes looking at the bull because it was like one window, and he's bedded facing away, bunch of sticks at his body, and bunch of sticks up top. So if he stands up, he's going to be covered, but there's a perfect window with the back of his neck. And I'm like, hey, like, this is a shot. It's going to be tough, but if you can make it, shoot it. If you don't, we'll just wait till they get up and probably have to wait for them to walk and then sneak in again. It was bitterly cold too. So we're sitting there starting to shiver because we stopped moving. And I set my pack in front of him. So he puts the rifle on it, and he's like, let me look at it. So he's looking at it, and I see his thumb start coming up towards towards the safety. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, he's going to shoot. And then not like 5 seconds later, he turns to me. He's like, I'm going to shoot. Clicks it forward. Boom. Shoots that bull. And he literally just lays his head down. Bull's dead. Like, instantly. And that hunt right there, like, the excitement from Brett was honestly the highlight. Like, I love the moose hunt and everything, but that hunt right there was such a highlight of the season because he was so excited and so grateful, and just, he's the whole time he's like, I can't believe I just killed a bull. Like, I can't believe I just killed a bull. And, so we got the whole experience of the pack out too. I ended up going a little crazy because I'm like, I don't want to do 2 pack outs. I was like, let's do it in one. And he's like, no, dude, like, we'll fine. Like, we can go do 2, and like, we'll come out in the dark. And I'm like, no, like, let's do it now. So we deboned the bull. I packed out both hindquarters and both front shoulders in one trip.
That's wild.
Yeah. And, I want to test our frames and see what thing we got going to, and see if I can get a breaking point. But it's like 2.5 or almost 3 miles like out, and on the steep, just hillside, going. But yeah, I loaded that bad boy up and we got out that just one trip and before dark. But that hunt was awesome. And then after that, I went to Idaho to my brother's place, which that was fun. I shot a really nice, good mountain whitetail. But then my nephew and little brother showed up, and we figured out that Idaho youth, you can go buy a tag. Like if you're not a resident youth, like you can go buy a tag, and they're from Oregon. And so they came. So I was pumped. Like we went and got them hunting license and everything and tags, and they both shot bucks. Like that was a fun time too with them. And now they're both hooked. Like they keep texting me and stuff like that. And then my nephew is like, I'm going to come move with you after I graduate from high school and everything. We'll live in Wyoming. And that's something I love, like, instilling that passion into, 14-year-old and 15-year-olds. Like they love to hunt. They want to go hike around. They both got rifles for Christmas. One for my brother and my dad bought them, my little brother rifle. And I'm like, I didn't get a little rifle when I was 15 years old, but I'll take it, but they're excited. And, that was kind of a good way to end out the season. A lot of animals hitting the ground. Even in the spring, like Mike shot his first bear with me. And then our IT guy, Ben, shot his first bear with me. And like, I look back at 2024 and like, I loved the moose hunt, and especially for my own personal, like that was the highlight. But those hunts with, friends and family was so awesome. And definitely, I think maybe I'm like getting to that point where I just really don't care about myself. But like, I just love taking people out, and especially 2025 will look a lot like that too, and helping people get their first animals. But it's a fun year.
Man. Like I don't have the resume that you do with hunting. I didn't grow up with it or nothing like that, but I've had some pretty good success over the few years that I have been. But I got to take my old medic when I did get hurt in Iraq. He was the guy wasn't with me. I didn't tell him because didn't have a medic. He was in this other side of the country. I got to take him on his very first hunt this past year. In fact, I'm going to try to get Brett down there because it's a ranch I hunt at, and the ranch owner is a really, really big customer for MKC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to get Brett down there and Josh. But yeah, I got some old medic, man. Gave him one of his very first animals, a massive, massive hog.
Yeah,
dude, he was so pumped, and I think, dude, I was more pumped for him than anything I'd ever killed, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
dude, something super special about that.
There is something truly special. Like, I still like was looking back, like at the end of the year, I kind of dumped like a whole whatever how the season went and stuff. And even then, I'm like, wow, I had a great year. I didn't really see that. I'm like, wow, like a lot of cool experiences. But I was looking at Brett's, and like I have this video of like Brett didn't even know I was recording, but like I just like turned around, and he was like sitting there. He's like, man, he's like, I can't believe this happened. Yeah. He's like, thank you so much. Like all this stuff that I kind of cut off the recording. It's like, it's kind of weird. Like he's like getting sentimental. I cut off the recording, but like just the excitement. And even then, like I was just with him this last weekend up in Cody for the bear banquet, and he's still so appreciative. And like we talk about it anytime we're together. Like that whole experience was something that we'll remember forever. The whole time from showing up there after I just packed out a buck like in Montana, and then we're going out the next day and killing his first bull, and it's a nice 6-point, like a good bull, especially for your first one. My first bull is a spike, you know what I mean? So like he was so appreciative, and that's something like even Amanda is still my cousins and my nephew and little brother. Even Mike and I talked about his bear hunt, a couple weeks ago, and it's just like those experiences with friends and like all that stuff is something I'm really starting to value more than anything that I do personally. Like I shot my bull this year. I bet my heart rate didn't get above, it was just like so calm and everything. But when Brett was sitting there and when Amanda was shooting those elk, like I was like freaking out. Like I'm like, it's like I'm shaking, like shaking for them, and I still try to stay calm so I don't, freak them out. But yeah, it's something. I'm not sure. I think it's as you progress, but also just if you're a good human, I don't know, like, like I love seeing anyone succeed. Like if, Carrie, you shoot anything, you send me it, like I'm genuinely pumped like for you. And like, that's something within the industry that I have valued and probably the most rewarding is when, like I have another buddy who's been hunting in Montana. And he has never killed a nuck before, but like I'm going over scenarios with him, like, hey, like still hunting and like all this stuff. And he literally walked me through the whole process of like his whole season. Like, hey, like I did this. I'm like, hey, do this, and he eventually killed his first bull and like texted me. He's like, dude, I did it. Like I did your, still hunting techniques through timber and I shot this bull. And that is some of the most rewarding things like I'll ever experience, I think, just getting that excitement from them, and like first time hunters, or even like I have another high school buddy that texts me. He's like, I love seeing what you're doing. He's like, I'm getting into hunting this year. It's like I've been kind of researching everything. And I tell anyone like that, I'm like, hey, reach out to me anytime. Like I will help you like with any sort of thing you need, like especially, advice on gear and tactics. Then he just texted me after the moose film. He's like, I love the moose film and all that stuff. And that's something I just like really am starting to value more than anything that I do personally. It's just bringing more people into hunting, because you guys know, like this community is very small in terms of the world, and especially in terms of the United States.
Yeah.
And trying to instill that into youth, but also adults. Like there's no limit to when you can start hunting, and especially gaining more experiences. Within the industry, the more people I talk about that are like, adult onset hunters, it's a lot. And it's awesome to see. And guys that get proficient really fast because they dive into it. And that's something I just want to, if anything, I'm going to like do within what I have as a job, is try to bring more light into hunting and helping others get into it and experience what I've experienced my whole life, because I'm definitely, if I value more than anything, is the experience I've had with my brothers, with myself on personal hunts. And the most rewarding thing ever is killing a bull by yourself 7 miles back and packing that bull out in 2 trips by yourself. When you get to the truck on that last trip, you're like, I can do anything. Like I'm literally like, you feel invincible, like it's just something that I want people to have, that kind of, euphoria feeling of, the success, but also just the feeling of being in the backcountry and you're sitting there in God's creation of this is the closest you're going to feel to God in a sense right now, when you're at 10,000 feet, no one's around and at peace. Like I want people to feel that, and especially in today's age when all it is overstimulation. People need to get into the mountains more and just calm down. You know what I mean? Just calm down and enjoy life. And that's something I, just want to preach as much as I can to people.
I think it's an awesome sentiment, man. And, life is good, dude. Life is good. And it's awesome to see, Carrie and I said this last night, man, but, it's awesome to see other folks with gratitude for what we do and just thankful and willing to share, man. And it's a cool part of the community, man. And glad you're sharing that. And I appreciate what you're doing, man. It's really cool. And your video is fantastic. Your video editor, Roy, I guess, did a phenomenal job. Way cool. We'll link that in the show notes so folks can check it out. It's a really cool way to preserve, the memories of your hunts. I try to take as much footage as possible too, because I have a terrible memory and I can't remember anything. So I'm like, I need to I can watch it, man. So that's way cool, dude.
And I got like ADD, so I can't watch videos that are more than like 10 minutes. But I sat there and watched the entire hunt in one go, man. So it's a damn good video, man. Yes. Not only it's so cool animals, but it was just a cool video, man. Cool way to show what happened.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it for sure. It's definitely something that's cool within that is like I could show that to, future kids or anything like that. 15 years from now, or just like however long, like that video is going to be there. So yeah, definitely that's gonna be good, plugging that and people to check it out, because it's definitely, if anybody, like if you're my Instagram, you don't really know who the hell I am. Like, it's hard to see like a personality through it. But if you watch that video, you get a better sense of my personality in a way. But also through these podcasts and stuff. But yeah, go check it out. It's definitely great. Like the camaraderie between Anders and I, and even Roy. Like Roy's become like a really good friend of ours. It's just you bond more with someone when you're spending 8 days in the backcountry with no service than anything out there.
But share the friendships, man.
Yep. But yeah, no, thank you.
That's way cool, man. Well, dude, we rolled up over an hour here, man. That went quick. We're gonna have to.
Yeah, it did.
Get on for another episode, man. I could listen and swap hunting stories all night, man. But super appreciate you taking the time, man, and sharing some of your stories with us, and looking forward to more conversations with you. Hunt Lift Eat, super appreciative of our relationship with Kifaru, man. Love what you guys are doing. We just moved to Wyoming too. We just want to copy what all the cool kids are doing. So you're in Wyoming now, and you know, hopefully Carrie and I will be out there and get to meet you in person and shake your hand, dude. But you got anything cool that you're working on? Anything coming down the pipeline that you can share? I know you're in the midst of Mexico season, so you guys are probably running and gunning right now.
Yeah, so we're kind of, you know, we're always working on a lot of things. The one thing I can share is that, you know, we've had our 44 mag and everything like that. We've kind of, you know, started to discontinue that. But something that happened this year, we started kind of remodeling it. So we're going to come out with a Gen 2 option. So it's going to be pretty much the same 44 mag configuration, but it's going to be updated with you know, laser cutting for the MOLLE attachments, kind of similar to the Manimal. With those slots along the back, and there's going to be compression straps on the back too, to secure your bow or anything like that. So it's just, we're coming out with that 44 mag updated model. And the one thing you can do is at Western Hunt, which is coming up, the Western Hunt Expo will give away the new 44 mag each day. There's going to be one given away each day. And then I think a couple weeks after that, we're going to, you know, launch the full, you know, 44 mag on the website and everything. But yeah, that's kind of the only thing that's kind of coming real early into the pipeline. Oh, you guys see in the video, we kind of have that new yoke, harness. Yeah. So that's something that we kind of got hit up a lot about. Even in my pictures and stuff, people are kind of asking about it already. But especially after that moose video, I've been hit up a lot. But that's going to be coming out in the spring. So in our hunt and stuff like that, you know, we prototyped it throughout pretty much the whole season. But we're going to be coming out with a new. A little more padding, and then, you know, coming across the back, it's going to be a nice panel for your harness. And we're going to sell it individually kits too. So if you already have our bino bucket, you can just buy that and then just attach it to it. So easier for the customers.
I call dibs, and I want about 20 stickers with it.
Yes. All right. I'm making sure you're getting stickers, man. That's going to happen.
When I was there, I asked about it, and I got looked at like I was retarded. So,
what?
No. I'm like, cool, man. I've seen this yoke. Let me try one. And they're like, no.
What are you talking about? I wonder who you talked to. Was it a guy? Was it no? It was a chick.
Yeah.
Bonnie.
No.
Probably Bonnie or Kinsey.
Yeah.
Kinsey. Oh, okay. Kinsey was I don't know.
Where are you?
Yeah, who are you?
Promise, I'm kind of cool.
I'm kind of cool. It's I wish I was there, because I would have just showed you the one I was using. But yeah, no, we're excited for that to come out, because it's definitely going to be a good update for our bino harness. But yeah, so it'd be the 44 mag and then that new yoke for the bino harness. But other than that, we're working on a lot of stuff for 2026. But definitely nothing I could share, you know, for most of the fall and going into there.
Well, we'll keep tabs, man, and encourage listeners to keep tabs too. I'd like to win that 44 mag. If you want to put my name down, just make it easy.
Just put it right in there. Be like, yep, Carter got it.
Yeah, dude. I really appreciate your time, man. Looking forward to chatting some more. I've got some more ideas of how maybe we could work together in the future. So Carrie and I will chat with you, man. But Carrie, you got any closing thoughts for us, man?
Oh man, this was a lot of fun. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you guys for having me on, and definitely, you know, I appreciate Hunt Lifty. Always have you guys are awesome. So anything you guys need, just hit me up. You know what I mean? But yeah, thank you guys for having me on. Have a good conversation. Hopefully, we'll do it again and can talk about more stuff.
Well, man, yeah, appreciate it. Everybody, check out the YouTube video and go check Ken out on Instagram, and we'll link all that in the show notes. And listeners, as always, we appreciate the hell out of you guys, and we'll talk to you next week.